I'm here today to demonstrate how to actually set up a small python or small snake enclosure, and the first step is to use Kritter's Crumble. Now it's important to remember you need to know your species, and if you have a species that likes to climb, you can actually place a nice perch in the enclosure. And remember, reptiles are actually cold-blooded, and it's always important to supply them with a heat source so that it meets their heating requirements. Now what we're going to do is actually place the Kritter's Crumble into the exhibit. And remember, Kritter's Crumble, when it actually comes out of the bag, can be quite moist. So if you have a species that's a desert species, you might want to go along and actually dry it out a little bit beforehand. Now you can place about that much Kritter's Crumble in the bottom of the enclosure, and then once you've done that, you need to consider what else you need to put back in. A water bowl, because all animals need to drink water, and remember, you need to check the water daily. The next thing your animal needs is actually a hide, so ensure that you give them something or somewhere to sleep. And snakes shed their skin on a regular basis, so they need a solid or a rough surface so they can actually rub their nose, which starts the part of the shedding process. So now it's time to put Stimp, the Australian Stimpson's python, back in her new home on Kritter's Crumble. So what we're going to do now is actually do a spot clean. So I'm just removing the python from the enclosure. Out you come, Stimp. And remember, when you remove a snake from an enclosure while you're doing spot cleaning or anything, keep it in a contained enclosure or container and make sure it's got ventilation. We also remove the hide and other furniture in the enclosure like the rock and the water bowl. Then from there you can actually see where all the different droppings are. I find the best thing to use is just a plain spoon, which is just used for that enclosure alone, and a tub. Then you physically go along, find the droppings in the enclosure, scoop a little section of the droppings out. You don't have to just do the dropping area, you can do a little portion around that as well. Now that the droppings are taken out, place it into a container, and the most common question I get asked about the droppings and the substrate is, what do I do with it? And I'm about to show you. Now the good thing about Kritter's Crumble, it's all natural, it's 100% recyclable, and it's great for the environment, so you can use it in the garden, on the lawn or in the compost.